Welcome. Today, I'm going to be talking about how you can start a Unify project and use Epiphan Connect to bring sources in from Zoom or Microsoft Teams to be a part of your event. Let's get started. First thing you're going to want to do is log into Epiphan Cloud. After you log in, go into this tab right here on the left called Unify and create a new project. After you have named the project, it will take about 2 to 3 minutes to launch your project. All right, so it's been about 2 minutes, and I'm going to show you what to do next. So once you have your project running, you're going to want to click on these three buttons, these three dots on the right-hand side here, and go to Apply Preset. You should see you'll have a few different presets that are currently available to you. I would suggest selecting the live event one. That's what we're going to use for this demonstration today. Once you select it, hit Apply Preset, and it will apply. Within this preset, you're going to go to the admin login web user interface, which you can access using this blue button right here. Once you're in the web user interface, you have a few different options here on the left-hand side. Channels is where you actually build out your show and you define the encoding settings and define where you are streaming your content to. In the input section is where you map the different guests that you're bringing in from Zoom or Teams to your production. I'm going to go back into Epiphan Cloud, and then I'm going to go to the Connect section. What I want to do now is add Connect to a Zoom or Teams meeting that I am currently in. So the way that you do this is you go to New Meeting, you select your platform. I'm going to use Zoom in this case, and you copy and paste the Zoom invitation, the same code you used to click and join the meeting, into this field right here. Once you do that, you enter in a password if it is applicable, but I won't need to do that today. So I'm just going to click on Connect. You'll get a pop-up saying that some permissions are needed. And when Connect actually joins your meeting, you will have to grant it permissions via Zoom. That'll be a pop-up that just appears on your screen as soon as Connect joins that meeting. For Teams, you will not need to do this. Now, it's going to take about 2 to 3 minutes to actually join your meeting. So I will check back in once it is in our meeting. While you're waiting for Connect to join your meeting, let's go back into Unify and look at some of the layouts that we've added in when we created the config preset. So you're going to want to go back into Unify and then click on that admin login button again. Now, what we're going to do is want to navigate to our channel that we call Program, and then go to the Layouts tab. You can see we've created all of these layouts for you already. They are named based on what is being displayed. So the first one is just a one-up of the host, and the host is just the first SRT input that we've defined. The second one is just a one-up of the second SRT input, and then the third, so on and so forth. The two-up content plus host is the screen share, which is going to be on the left-hand side of the screen, and the host stream on the right side of the screen. Then we've also added more two-ups of different guests, which are going to be a part of the show. And then we also have a 4-up down here. These layouts are completely customizable. So it comes with this purple and pink background and a few fillers for where you can put your own logo. But of course, you can change this very easily. So let's go back to the first one, and I'm going to show you how I change it. I'm going to click on background image, which is right here. And what I can do is I can drag and drop a new image over this smaller one over here, and it will populate. You can disable keep aspect ratio when scaling if you don't have an image that is perfectly sized to the frame size that you are encoding using the tool. So once Connect has actually joined your meeting, you will have to admit it. It will be waiting in the lobby. So that's what you see now. I'm going to go ahead and click admit in Zoom. And there we go. As it has been admitted, it asks you to approve live streaming in Zoom. And you're going to have a pop-up in Zoom that tells you that there's a request to live stream. And what you're going to have to do is click grant permission. Once you do that, you should see that the name of your meeting is here, the status is running, and that since I'm the only one in this meeting, it only shows one participant in here. But if you have more than just one person, it will show the amount of people that are in the meeting. So I'm going to click into this meeting here just by clicking on the box. You'll see a dynamic list of all the participants that are in your meeting here, as well as main streams. Main streams will always appear, and you can extract the primary speaker, so whoever has a green box around them in Zoom or Teams, or the screen share of whoever's sharing their screen. So since I'm sharing my screen right now, it does say that it's me. However, when someone else shares their screen, it will be here as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is just extract my own video and put it into Unify. So I'm going to click on Start, and then I'm going to navigate to the Epiphan tab over here. What you're going to do then is select the Unify project that you have running on your same Epiphan Cloud team. The Unify project has to be live for it to show up. So I'm going to click on that. Once you select your Unify project, you'll be able to choose which SRT input you want your video feed or the host's video feed to take over. So since I'm the host, I'm going to just select host. It's going to give you a warning saying the input will be replaced. And then I'm just going to go ahead and click start. There we go. Now we can see that it is actually connected. So now my video is being streamed into Unify. Let's go see what that looks like. I'm going to go back into Unify, go back into the admin login section, and then let's go to inputs and let's just click on host. So once you click into this input, you'll be able to see that it was connected for a set amount of time. If you scroll down, you'll see a snapshot of the video feed that's coming in. Now this refreshes every 5 seconds or so. So this is not a live feed of what's going on. Now let's go back into channels. So I'm going to click on program. And then I'm going to go into layouts. And since I mapped my audio and video to the host input, whichever layouts have the word host in it, I will appear in. So the 1UP host, there I am. Now let's go to the 2UP host plus content. There I am. Now the content's not coming in yet. We have not set up the screen share yet. Then these other layouts, you can see that I am coming in. There we go. Now let's go back into Connect. I'm going to go back into my meeting room and then extract my screen share. So I'm going to go into the Epiphan tab, select the Unify project, and then map it to content. You can map it to any of these inputs. So we have named them in a way that makes it pretty easy to find which input you want to map it to. But if you don't have any content and you just have a bunch of guests coming in, you can rename these inputs adequately for you to be able to find them easily and see which people you want to map to what inputs. So since I'm mapping my screen share, I'm going to select content and click start. So I just started my screen share and I mapped it to the content layout in Connect, and that is in my Unify project as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into Unify, click on the admin login section again. And if we go to the content input, you can see that the content is just whatever I am sharing on my screen. If we go back into the program channel and we go into layouts, we can see that all of the layouts that include the word content will have my screen share coming in. So all of these different ones here. So we just built out this config preset, and you can change the background image, you can change the logos, you can resize all the inputs, but this is a really good framework for you to start producing your live event in. If you want to add your own branding to this, the way that you would do it is you would download an image, and then you would just drag and drop it into this square here, and it will replace the image that is there in the background. If you want to add a new image, let's click on add new item, select picture, and you can drag and drop a picture in here. Or if you've already uploaded it into Unify, you can just select it from the drop down here. So I'm going to choose this image called awaiting connection. You can see I can move this image anywhere around. I can disable snap to grid to have it be a little more fluid and get the positioning exactly where you want it. And you can drag and drop it, resize it. If we uncheck keep aspect ratio when scaling, it will remove that aspect ratio, so you can use the image however you see fit. So now we've set up our layouts. We pretty much have our run of show, and we've connected our participants from Zoom or Teams, and now they're coming into Unify. So if you want to stream directly from Unify, you go into the streaming section under your channel, and you create a new stream. So click on new stream, select your streaming protocol, whether it's RTMP, SRT, or HLS, and then it will ask you to add the URL in there, the stream name, and then that way you can actually send that stream to YouTube, for example. There's a recording section too, and this is where files will be stored. You can start and stop recording from here, but you can also define what file type you want the recording to be saved in, what size limit you want the file to be saved in, or the time limit. Now, let's say you have a show, but none of these layouts look at all like you want them to. I'm going to walk you through how to create your own layout. The first thing we're going to do is go to that layout section and click add new layout. Here you get a blank slate, and usually the first thing I do is I add a background image. If you don't need a background image, you can actually define what color you want the background to be just in this drop down here. But I'm going to use a background image, so I'm going to keep it black, and I'm going to select add new item, and then I'm going to select picture. Since I've already uploaded my background image here, I can just select it here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it full screen. Now let's add some video sources. So first I'm going to select add new source, and then I'm going to select whichever video input I want to display in that new item. So I want to do myself there. I'm going to put host, I'm going to position that wherever I want it to be. And then let's say I want to do host and screen share. We do already have this one set up, but I'm just showing you how you can build your own layouts when you're ready to do that. So here we go. I'm going to center it as best as I can. You can also use these numbers here just to match it up, make sure that you're perfectly centered. But as you can see, the screen share is covering my video feed. So what I'm going to want to do here is actually crop my video feed just to include my head. For a talking head, I always like to use 3:4. So I'm going to select that as the aspect ratio, and it's going to fix that aspect ratio. So no matter how I resize this, it's always going to be 3:4. Now let's just try to center my head as much as I can. Let's keep it like that. And then here you can see that it's just my head, and it's currently being blocked by the screen share. So what I can do is I can actually move the host video source above the content one, and now it will be on top. So let's put it like that. There we go. And that's a way that you can play with layering using this tool as well. One thing that's very important to note is you have to select audio sources whenever you are creating layouts. Usually when you add a video source, it will add that audio input to your layout as well. But sometimes you might want audio coming from a different source, but you don't necessarily want video coming from that source. So you don't have to add it in as an actual video source. You can just select the audio channels that you want going into that specific layout. So this is looking pretty good already, but I feel like it's missing a little bit of branding. So let's add a logo. I'm going to click on add new item, and then I'm going to go to picture. I still have that background image there. That's not going to be my logo. I'm just going to use this placeholder, and it just very simply says your logo here. So I'm going to resize that, move it to let's do the bottom right corner. See, I don't really like the way that it's not able to be centered exactly. So I can uncheck snap to grid, move it down there, and then save it. There we go. Now, why don't we add some text? So you can go into the text section, and you'll see it'll just appear here. It'll give you some filler text, but let's just add a little title for my name. We change the text there. Just going to click anywhere on the screen for it to refresh, and I can drag and drop this anywhere I want. Now, I don't really like how it has a black background there, so I'm going to uncheck the background part of it, leave it like this, and let's make it a little smaller and change the font size down to 48. Then I'm actually going to write my full name here, because I think it'll fit a little better. Now, let's say I want to add my company name as well. I'm going to create a new text box, write Epiphan Video, change the text. I think I used 48 last time, so I'm going to stick with that. Move that down here. And you know what? I am going to change the background color of this a little bit. Maybe I want it to look like this. Let's click save. Now, this is the layout that we just created. So we did just create this layout here. Now, let's go through what you're going to need to do to actually produce your live show. You're going to want to scroll up, and under the channel that you've been doing all your work in, you're going to click on this button right here, which is the switcher. In the switcher, you will have an overall view of all of the layouts that you've created and a live view of what each of these layouts currently look like. So the one up host is the one that is live, as you can see, because it has a red box around it and it's displayed on the right-hand side over here. But let's change over to that layout that we just created. I didn't name it, so it's just called layout 28. I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to click on switch. Now you have a live view of that layout, and you can see the screen share, my video coming in, the logo, and some text here and there. And you can use this part of the tool to produce your whole live event. So you can do that multi-click step where you click on the layout you want to show, and then you click on switch. Or you can just double click whatever layout you want to go live. At a very basic scale, that is how you can use Unify and Connect. I highly encourage you to go and try the tools out yourselves. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to support@epiphan.com or use the live chat on our website. Happy producing.